Looks like we're live.
Is it? Excellent.
It says live on Facebook on the top, so fingers crossed. Hi, everyone.
1 second. Oh, here we are.
We happy?
I think we're happy, yeah.
Yay. How's everyone else out there? Join in the conversation. Hi, everyone.
Excellent.
Oh, is that Cara in the back?
No?
No, I just heard hi, everyone.
Oh, I thought, no, that was you through my phone.
Oh, no. I thought we had another friend.
Yay. How's everyone else out there?
Join in the conversation.
We've got Andrew with us.
Excellent. Oh, is that Cara in the back? No, I just heard hi, everyone.
Hold on, let me.
Oh, I thought, no, that was you through
I've got
my
a dual
phone.
screen. Hold on.
Yeah.
There you go. Is that better?
Yeah, I can't hear anything else now. That's good.
Excellent. This technology, eh? How are you? You're all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Like I was just saying, I'm glad that the sunshine's come back out. It was a bit of a drizzly morning this morning, but on my morning walk, but it's okay this afternoon. It's quite nice, isn't it? Always makes us feel a bit better when the sun shines out.
Yeah, doesn't it? Let me just change it to a split screen on the screen. It's just not at the moment. Hold on. Let me see if that's worked. Is that?
I can check on my phone.
Yeah, I've just tried to switch it over. There we go. Yeah, we got it. We got splits.
Well,
thanks for that, Andrew. Excellent, sir. Excellent. So, how are you, Amanda? All right? You had a busy week this week?
I have had a busy week. Yes, I'm getting all technical minded because we're having to, aren't we? But that's in a good way, and kind of that's a conversation that's been going on a lot with a lot of people, I think, at the moment, and something that we all need to kind of remind ourselves that it's quite a good time to upskill as well and evolve, because we're having to find new ways of connecting with people, of still doing what we need to do, but in a different way. And it's about being adaptable in these times and being able to go with it, you know. And when the sales adjust, as they have hugely for everybody, we're kind of easier to go with it and learn rather than resist and try and keep it against whatever's coming.
Yeah, no, it's important that, because obviously I feel like we spoke about this as well. I feel like the first week we were all very busy adjusting. Whereas this week, it feels like it's a little bit more real in terms of what we're having to deal with. So we are having to make those kind of semi-permanent life shifts over to change things over to kind of how we're doing things now. And I suppose it's not easy mentally to kind of know that you have to adjust. Is there any kind of advice that you've got for people to say, stay positive during this time? We had Lorraine comment saying, you know, how do you stay positive during this time? But, you know, while this week feels like it's lasted about 3 weeks for a few people, including myself, is there any kind of advice that you've got for us in terms of how to broach that mentally?
Yeah, there is. I mean, well, can hear me feeding back on there. Sorry, there is. But it depends in which way we want to go with it. I mean, I am going to be putting out quite a few little videos on here for people as well, based upon this, on how to keep a positive mindset when things aren't too positive. So I don't really want to repeat myself too much, but I guess for those that aren't watching this, you know, that will be helpful. And for the ones that are, then I will share that, because I think it's definitely needed at the moment, as we know that I won't get too complex in this, but you know, we have certain pathways of our brain, and the neural pathways, and they're naturally wired to go to the negative. And if we're in a place of fear and anxiety, worry at the moment, then where's it going to naturally go? Down that route. So we have to really, really, really practice at the moment to try and channel those neural pathways going the other way. And I'm not saying don't honor that. I think we've talked about that last time. It's not saying, oh, this is fine. It isn't. But if we can balance it out and keep the positives going as well, we'll be able to ease through it a lot better. So the main one I always go back to for positivity, and people kind of roll their eyes a little at, is always the gratitude, as we spoke about. You know, there's simple ways that we can do that. Whether it's the 3 gratitudes in the morning, whether it's just you literally just sit there and list everything that you're grateful for on a piece of paper. There's a couple of tools. Another one is to do that and encourage children to do that as well. You know, if you feel that they're kind of going low in the mood at the moment because they're not seeing, you know, they're struggling their own ways, they're not seeing their friends, they're not connecting the way they used to, they can't play the sports as they wanted to. So it's like, right, come on then, let's just get out our pens and let's all write a list of what things we're grateful for. Let's play a game. Let's go around and each say one thing that we're grateful for. And, you know, go back to gratitude, because, and even if you just sat there thinking about it, you know, when you're thinking in a place of gratitude, you can't feel negative, you can't feel down. Yeah, it's like that joy and depression, they can't reside in the same space. All these opposite emotions, they can't reside in the same space. So if you're choosing to think of gratitude in those moments that it doesn't feel like you want to, it's really going to help you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Sorry, that's one for the positive mindset with gratitude, but also to keep positive, I think that we all need to be quite conscious as well about our environments, you know, because we're in that environment now for a lot of the time. So if you actually like what you're looking at every day, I'm not meaning people, hopefully you like them too, but but the actual environment that you're in, you know, this is quite a nice time to create that space how you want it to be. And even if you think, well, I can't go out and buy loads of things at the moment, Amanda, for you, that I wish to. Okay, well, make the most out of what you've got already. It might mean that you might need to just rejig things around, change things around a bit. You know, oh, actually, let's just have a look have a think how that would look that way. How does that change things for me? You know, have a route you've got time to go in the loft or the garage, find some things that maybe you've hidden away and you forgot about. You think, oh, do you know what? I used to love that. Get it back out again, put it on the wall. Create things and put them on walls to keep your headspace good at the moment. You know, I know that I went to visit my parents yesterday. It was my dad's birthday. I can't actually see them because they're both at high risk. So I kind of had to go and stand outside and drop his present on the doorstep and give them a wave with my gloves on. Patio. It was awful. Mum opened the window to have a conversation and everything. But anyway, next door, what I did notice is when I looked up, the kids had next door had drawn they devised a big rainbow and they painted it and everything. They'd put "Stay Safe" and they put it up in the window, and I was like, oh, that's sweet. But you know, these are things we can do in the house. Get the kids to draw some happy pictures, pop them around, or, you know, like I've said, those canvases that you've put away or pictures, get them back out again if they made you smile, and just create that space that that you enjoy being in. That helps them, doesn't it?
That's a really good point, because yeah, you're right. We're all spending a lot of time in the house and you want to make it as nice as you can. So that's really important. A really good point there. Obviously, you know, we spoke about time. We've got a lot of time, and I've been trying to, been occupying myself with making sure I'm touching base with everyone from the team quite a lot on a one-to-one or even just a text basis, and just, you know, seeing if everyone's okay in terms of that way. What we've got at the moment is a few people coping differently in different ways, but like best practices, and is a great way to share it, especially in a kind of circumstance like this. We've got Andrew's asked, he struggles sometimes breaking time into manageable chunks, and any tips to easily split it up. And one of the guys who works at the gym, Jacob, he's started writing lists every day of stuff that he wants to do that day and having them done the day before the day after, basically. So he's had like today, he's got tomorrow's, and he's written that. There's loads of like things, but obviously you might run out of stuff. Is there any tips that you've got on time management and also kind of goal setting? Because just not to tangent off, but goal setting in this time, goal setting's great when you've got an end date, but there's no kind of end date at the moment for us, is there? And I'm, you know, telling people to aim for a certain date, and then if it's before or after, you can move it. Would you suggest that's right, or is there a different tip that you've got for us?
Yeah, I think at the moment we're all kind of doing it each day at a time, aren't we? And I think that's kind of the pace we've all got to kind of go on. It's not saying that you can't have those long-term goals, because they are still achievable, they are. But I appreciate that right now people have got a different kind of reality than normal. So, but we can still have goals, we can still have targets we need to meet. And I think, did you say it was Jacob that mentioned?
Jacob,
Yeah, I think that working in that way is pretty good. And I have noticed with a couple of my clients at the moment is when in an evening, it is best to plan out the next day, or at least list your 3 priorities. You know, you don't have to do a massive one. But if you think, what are the 3 things I need to do tomorrow? Then you list those. Now, the reason, especially work related, or because if you do that, then it's not playing on your mind as well and hindering your sleep, because you've got that out of the way. And then when you wake up, you're more productive because you're like, right, they're the 3 top things. Anything else that you get done in that day that you might write on your list, brilliant. But you've done your main 3, and they're the ones that you can get done that day. So that's good. I definitely recommend at the moment structure definitely for the day, and treat it like a work day. I know it's not the same with the children, etc. Sometimes for families, but you have got people within the family, I think, that can watch them for an hour or do shifts, work out a schedule that works for the family. And but the thing about having a routine and a schedule at the moment, it's so important because it's structure. And at the moment, a lot of us are feeling a little unsafe and unsure. So at least if we have a structure to our day, whether that be via the work, via children, via connecting, and make sure that this structure integrates the different aspects of your life. If you're working, it doesn't all have to be work. We can still balance it out. Encourage, definitely have a lunch break still. Have a break in the afternoon, switch your brain off, do a bit of reading, or go in the garden and have a breathe of fresh air, and but also scheduling the connection time. With people, like you say, connecting with people. Have that in. I'm going to have an hour where I don't know, hop on, what's this new app everybody's using, house parties.
House party.
Yeah. I've got it on. I haven't dared it yet, but but schedule in ways to connect or call somebody, but structure that into your day. And I think a lot of people at the moment, they're struggling with switching off, because normally when they leave the office or they leave the gym or wherever it is, you leave there and you kind of box that's your day there. Now I'm at home. But now, because there's not that physical distinction, a lot of people are kind of just tending to work through or do too much or lose track of feeling guilty if they're not working and when they are working. So if you I would say try and schedule your day each day throughout the week, but get your 3 main things down, as in goals, things like that, or achievables for the next day, the night before. But don't lose sight of that end goal. It's still, these long-term goals can still be there, and we are gently working towards them still. And I'm sure with fitness goals and things, with your array of online stuff, I think everybody's going to be fitter than they ever were anyway. They'll come back and they won't need you anymore. They'll say, we'll smash them all.
Well, I mean, some really good points about goal setting and especially next day prioritizing. What I've found sometimes is when you kind of, in terms of my own time management, it's the positive out of this is that you are a complete master of your own time management. Whereas if you were, and if obviously for those of you out there who've read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I'm sure you have, Amanda, in terms of the time management quadrant and where you spend your time, and you get to spend your time in quadrant 2, where it's all planned and you can kind of be a master of it. Whereas there's not a work phone ringing, there's not an email that urgently needs answering, and you're in kind of control of that. And I think that's really cool because you can kind of get that practice set in stone while you're in this downtime. When you go back to work and back to your daily routine, you can be the best version of yourself. So I suppose that is a really key point, is that, out of every cloud, of course, is a silver lining, and this one is a great one because you can really focus on it.
And there is quite a lot. Oh, sorry. There are quite a lot of silver linings here. You know, that people, and it, you know, you don't want to come, I don't want to ever come across as patronizing, like I said, never will, because it is not the best reality for a lot of us. But we do need to keep searching for those silver linings. You know, this is a good time to start asking those big questions that we've kind of avoided because we've been distracted by work or by other things. Now we're actually realizing maybe we need to reflect, have a look upon that. How was it all working? Ask those questions. That's a good time to do that. That's not a scary thing. It's a good thing. And also, you know, when we come out of this, we're all going to be so, gosh, the gratitude that we will feel for all those things that we took for granted earlier, you know, is going to be immense. I think that the connection we're going to have is going to be brilliant. I think a lot of us will have upskilled in this time, you know, and not necessarily sometimes business related or work related. Sometimes people now have had time to maybe read that book they wanted to read, or, you know, learn a new language, or have more time to learn that new language. They kept putting it off on the side.
Learning Spanish, so that's really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Joel's doing it. he can show us his talents maybe on a live.
Of course.
No pressure, Joel.
Let's see if anyone's got any questions. Hi Angela, who's watching, and Rach. We miss you, Rach.
Hi,
Anyone's got any questions about anything that they may be struggling with mentally, or maybe something that they want answered, or anything? Andrew's thought he wants a hug off Kevin Ward when we're back out. I've had 31 and a bit years of never having a hug, so if you get one before me, I'll be pretty angry.
Yeah, because I think it's that keeping people forget in these times, you know, as we've just been discussing, we do need to make sure that we're keeping our emotional and mental health strong. You know, these are not easy times. These need to be worked on. And that's why, you know, I do champion it in the group. You know, we need to be making sure that our minds are as strong as our bodies, you know, and if there's anybody there listening, you know, you do have the chance to have coaching with me on a Thursday, and book in your session, and I can help you. You know, there might be some certain emotional struggles or some questions that come up that you can't deal with, or, you know, if you're dealing with fear, anxiety, there are all things that I can help with, and I have loads of tools and techniques to help you. So please do book in those slots on a Thursday, because Andrew and the team here have kindly got me on board to do that for you. So it's part of your membership.
Yeah, and we've got you know, you have done a really great job in taking care of everyone mentally, and it's that time now when I suppose some people who might not have had stopped and thought that they needed it, and, you know, this time is kind of a forced stop, and that's something that we should all take care of. And even as I went back to, I did a live Q&A with Max on Sunday night, you know, that we spoke on recovery. You know, mindset and mental well-being is a huge part of your life, but it's a huge part of your kind of fitness goal as well. You know, if you're on a journey fitness-wise and your mindset isn't there, then you'll be hindering what potential progress you could make. So, you know, there's lots of different aspects of how you can look at mental health well-being, and Amanda, you can help with pretty much all of them. So it's really good to have you on helping. Is there any questions that anyone else has got in terms of before we move on? And we'll talk about obviously we spoke about time management, we spoke about how to try and stay positive, and we spoke about gratitude from that. Is there any kind of thing that anyone's struggling with during this downtime? Is there anything that we can help with that way? We're always, you know, we're here, and if you don't get a chance or you're watching this back after, then by all means drop me or Amanda a message. I have tried to tag in the right one for your page, Amanda, for your life coach page, so that people can go on there and see the content that you're doing. But you are going to share a couple of other bits onto the group as well. Is there any? Because we spoke about the happy news, didn't we?
Yeah.
And have you been watching that? Have you seen what's going on in the happy news?
Yeah, I have been watching a couple of things. There was a lovely one actually today that my aunt shared on Facebook. I might share it later for people, but it's so sweet. It is apparently there's this organization that have set up. It's like buddies for people that are the older generation that are in residential homes, and a lot of them at the moment, obviously the high risk, so they're not able to get out, but also they're not able to connect with each other in the residential centre, so they're actually just literally boxed in the little room. So what this organisation has done is sort of this way of getting a video buddy, online video buddy for these people, and they get these iPads or whatever, and they log in, and you have this buddy that you sign up to, and it's like, I think they've called it something like Adopt a Grandparent. I think it's so cute. But yeah, things like that are going on, and obviously we know the big things, but there's that happy newspaper that I spoke of, and I think Andrew shared on the group, and that's literally an online newspaper, or you can get it posted to you, of full happy news. And that's from a lady that's devised this. I think she's called Emily Coxhead. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I might get that wrong. But anyway, she's this lady in Chorley has developed this newspaper called Happy News. The Happy Newspaper. Also, there's a guy I did share. Oh gosh, what was he in? I think he was in The American Office. I never watched it, The American Office, because obviously I was British. It's like we did it. But anyway, it was meant to be quite good. But one of the actors in there, I'll just have to quickly look at my phone. But one of the actors in that, he's dedicated a whole YouTube channel to positive news at this time. Yeah, and it was quite good. So I'm just gonna quickly check if and we can talk.
Yeah, check. Deborah's with us. She said hi. Hi, Deborah.
Hello, Deborah.
Hope you're okay. And Deborah had organised a amazing charity event that we were lucky enough to get involved with. So I'm sure that charity event will happen later on in the year, because I think it's supposed to take place in April, but I'm sure we'll be able to do that later on in the year. So and I suppose as well, just saying that, there's so much stuff to look forward to at the back end of the year now, isn't there? Like everything's kind of being moved that way to that way.
It's going to be Celebration City afterwards, isn't it?
Yeah, like you said,
I don't know if people are going to be drinking Corona or not.
No, I don't.
Either Corona sales will go up because of the humour. Some people will do that as a what they call it, black humour. And so it may go down, I don't know. But anyway, back to this is he's called John Krasinski.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so this guy.
Right, yeah. He's Jack Ryan. If you ever watched Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime.
Right. Well, he's got this, he's launched a YouTube channel dedicated entirely to good news. So there you go. If you want to watch a bit of good news, and like I say, I jest about these things, but I am not joking. It so helps your mindset. I know I'm not saying be ignorant. We need to be aware. We do need to be aware of the news, and the ways to stay safe, but be choosy. Just watch the main news when you need to, and just balance it out and look at that stuff throughout the day. I choose, as you know, not to watch the news. I will watch it at a certain time that I structure, or like I say, look on the government or NHS website. Generally, I don't want to know. And even, I don't scroll too much now on Facebook, because it raises my anxiety seeing the bad news. I don't want to see it. That's why I don't, I'm quite aware that this is pretty bad, but the more I keep feeding my brain with how bad it is and facts and numbers, that's just going to feed the wolf, isn't it? I always go back to that, which wolf you feed. You're going to feed the angry one, you're going to feed but it does. So, and you've got to be so careful of that at the moment for your emotional well-being. How do you feel when you're looking at those facts? It's not nice. And I've had people, and I still have it in life now. I had, my partner, bless him, won't mind me saying this, but he did show me, have you seen that? I can't see him anymore because we're distanced.
Yeah.
But anyway, that night when we weren't, he said, here we go. And he showed me on the phone and he said, have you seen the stats? Look at that. I said, no, I hadn't. And it doesn't make me feel any better. So thanks. You know, so be mindful of that. Just try your best to channel into the good news. And the other one I've mentioned as well was that one on Instagram, and they're on Facebook as well. And it's something broadcast. I'll have a look at that one for you. But that's all just positive news about this situation at the moment. So it's all good. I'll find it because it's on my message.
Just going back to that point of how to kind of and I know Andrew does this as well, and I've done it for a little while now, is I have restrictions on my phone. So when I feel myself scrolling, every 15 minutes it times itself out, and you can change those barriers on iPhone especially, and that just makes me conscious that I've scrolled for a certain period of time, and B, it kind of avoids you from just scrolling and spending your day, and by the time you've had an hour on your phone, another hour's gone, and that's if you've got a routine and you are trying to build a routine, you could quickly get off track by being a bit sidetracked by stuff like that. So that was a hint that I found a little bit more useful to stop you scrolling, as well as obviously not picking your phone up. But sometimes it's hard. I mean, I've had a lot of when you get on a Monday, your screen time from the week before. I mean, obviously it's massively shot up. And I'm sure it has for everyone in this time, like how long you spend it on your phone. So changing those limits around of how long you spend on a certain app.
Yeah.
I don't get on my phone, I don't get Facebook notifications or Instagram notifications or Twitter notifications on my actual main screen, because then I can choose when I'm looking at it. And I suppose that's the power of it then. And then someone's not, Facebook isn't saying this and this isn't saying that. And you can always divide your time as to when you want to look at those things.
Definitely. At the moment, I think digital health, as they call it, is not good, because a lot of people have more time to be scrolling through the phones and things. And it's not great for us at all, for our brains. Like I said, a lot of things are going to pop up on there that we don't necessarily want to see. But just spending that amount of time on a screen, it's not good for us. And that also feeds into anxiety. If you're getting notifications popping up all the time, as we say, it's distraction. It's unproductive sometimes if you're trying to work. So going back to that, there is an app that I put on my phone called, have you heard of Cold Turkey?
No. Yeah.
It's called Cold Turkey. I'll find it on here. But I'm sure it'll pop up. It's a picture of an actual turkey. Let's have a look. There we go. It's the grey one. You can see all my apps now. We see this grey one. It's called Cold Turkey. Okay. Yeah. That Cold Turkey one, you can put it on a timer and it blocks all your apps.
Oh, wow, cool.
Blocks them all for however long you want them for. So, that could be really good if you think, do you know what, I'm just going to put that on in an evening now. I'm going to block that. Or while you do, I kind of call them, if we are thinking about work as well and not being distracted, do power hours, thinking, right, from 9 till 11, I'm going to be in the zone and put the phone somewhere else. There is a lot of science to this, that apparently even if it's in your eye line, it's distracting you. Because you've got cold. So put it either in another room, or if you can't do that and you're that attached, then put the Cold Turkey blocker on for 2 hours and have like 2 hours of, I call them power hours. Yeah, and just you focus in them hours and not be distracted. But it's a good one. I hadn't heard of that until a friend mentioned it the other week, because I have to practice what I preach sometimes, and I'm not a saint. Sometimes and I think, gosh, why am I not sleeping? Because I've been answering WhatsApps, looking on this, looking on that, and all this screen time. It's not good for our digital health.
No, and it's obviously, again, I've done a bit of reading before on kind of sleep patterns and what disorientates, and and phone is blue light, and blue light kind of wakens that area of your brain up that needs to kind of shut down naturally as the night goes on. So if the last thing you do is turn your phone over, pop it down, and go to sleep, then naturally you're going to have that first phase of your sleep is going to be a little bit more disturbed. So spending that time during that spending that time on that downtime, as in having a nighttime routine, now is the perfect time to build one, isn't it? Because it's not a lot of the guys who aren't working or have stopped working, you have that extra 2 hours before bed where you could get rid of your phone, get rid of the TV, read, look after yourself, spend time on that mental well-being, meditate, which is another good technique that people use.
I've got a little video coming your way on that, actually, of how to keep the mind calm in these times. I've sent one over today if you wish to share it. I've done them for the group, and there was one that the one I've sent today is I think it's on how positive tips one, and it's more about that gratitude practice. The other one that I've done is about that keeping the mind calm in these times, and some little techniques to do that. So that'll hopefully be helpful. But yeah, going back to actually that blue light, it just something sprung to mind then. Do you know there's on your phone you can turn off the blue light?
I've seen this. Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, on your settings. I've got a Samsung. I know people keep saying, Amanda, you need an iPhone. I have finally got a MacBook Air. I've got that far, but I guess it'd be helpful to have an iPhone as well. But anyway, I'm still with the Samsung. But yeah, it's on your settings. You'll find that you have a blue light filter.
All right, great.
Yeah, so like at the moment, you can see mine's there on that.
Oh right, mint. Yeah. So you can just kind of turn it. Yeah.
I must admit, since I put that blue light filter on, so it must make it less powerful. I haven't had. I was getting that in the night. I was getting some headaches and tension headaches, and I thought, oh, is it from looking at the screen? I'd had my glasses on and things, and I thought, why is that? So, but actually, as I've had that on, that has decreased now, and I haven't suffered from many headaches. So it's worth.
Really, it's funny because when you're thrown out of routine, you get thrown out of kind of your daily routine. And a big one for me has been caffeine. In the morning I would always start with a coffee, but now I'm waking up naturally. I'm still some mornings. This morning I had my first lie-in a while, but usually in the morning I'm getting in at 6:30, getting up at 6:30, 7 o'clock. The first thing I would do would be have a caffeine. Whether it was coffee or an energy drink or anything like that. And at the moment, out of that routine, I've been suffering kind of headaches from the caffeine withdrawal, but now's a perfect time to kind of get over them, isn't it? So
yeah, definitely. And actually that sinks in with the conversation we were just having about, I know a lot of people are suffering with the sleep at the moment because of this extra worries and level of emotional intensity that we're feeling. And because we're out of routine, a lot of people actually have gone into drinking quite a lot more coffee because they're in the house. I'll just go make another brew. I'll just, and actually they're finding that the sleep, it's having an impact on the sleep. So I would recommend to anybody, and I do anyway with most clients, I always say, have a cut-off point with your caffeine. I'm a caffeine fiend. You know this. I love cafe and Americanos with hot milk. I'm sorry, but I'm still looking forward to them back at your gym. And cuddles from Jack, of course. But yeah, that have a cut-off point. So cut off about, mine personally is 2 o'clock. They say 3:30, but I would say earlier. Go to about 2 o'clock, have your last caffeinated drink then, and then switch to decaf. Decaf, okay, but I'm not getting the same kick, but you'll sleep better. You still get the same taste. It's all psychological. As long as you're getting that taste, you honestly, you won't miss it. It'll be fine. Just switch to decaf.
I suppose it's that instant stimulus of the instant gratification of having a coffee and the benefits of that, but the long-term gratification of actually getting a lot better sleep is probably a lot better for you. An interesting
benefit.
about the coffee, and caffeine has a half-life. So there's a couple of studies being done, and the caffeine is, say if you have a coffee or an energy drink with 100 milligrams of caffeine in it at 12 o'clock, well, it has a half-life. So every 2 hours, you've still got half of that in your system, and it's still playing a part. So if you have 100 milligrams at 12 o'clock, by 2 o'clock, you've got 50, 4 o'clock, you've got 25, 6 o'clock, you've got 12.5, 8 o'clock, you've got 6.25. So you've always got that half of caffeine still in, and you don't, caffeine is a melatonin blocker. And melatonin is the hormone that releases for when your body needs to go to sleep. So the second that you have too much caffeine, it produces adenosine. I won't get too far into it, which blocks the melatonin production, which stops your natural sleep pattern. And when you get that natural sleep pattern back, the benefits for your overall well-being and life, and anxiety reduction and depression and things like that is, sleep is such a major part of it, isn't it? So
definitely. And actually, you've mentioned something really important there, Rob, about the melatonin, because the melatonin, as we know, it comes from the sun. And vitamin D makes us it helps us feel better when we're getting a bit of sunlight. And even if the sun isn't out, it's still getting through the clouds. So I would definitely, if people can go out at the moment, if you are able to still go out on walks, do. Even if you can't, and you're just going into your back garden, just go soak in some of that vitamin D and fresh air, because that actually does help with your sleep as well.
Yeah, vitamin D is also, you can get a supplement, can't you? And me and Cara have been having that vitamin D supplement throughout the colder months, and I feel like it's made a positive impact. So when you do your one essential shop, and try and get those vitamin D tablets if you feel like you're lacking a bit, because there was a guy who lived in California, and that's like the sunniest place ever. And he did a test, and he was still lacking in vitamin D, even though he's out pretty much every day. So it's important to kind of supplement with that, which helps kind of.
No, do they? That they're lacking that. It's the same with actually magnesium. A lot of people don't know that they're low in magnesium. It's not one that can be tested by the blood. And I've found since taking magnesium, that's really helped my sleep. So that's a good one for your sleep as well.
Yeah. I always used to have those ZMA tablets, but they made me too tired in the morning because I still wasn't going to sleep at the right time. But yeah, they do have a positive impact.
Yeah, be careful, guys, when you're shopping for your vitamins, because if you do what I did the other day, I don't know whether you saw my Instagram post, but I did on my little story. It was yesterday, because I said I've actually April Fooled myself without even knowing it. I got up in the morning and I have my usually, we all have our little rituals, which I can talk about another time actually, which is good and important in the morning. And mine is always I have my little vitamin C, my effervescent. So I'd put it in and I took a sip. I thought, oh, it tastes a bit funny. And I thought, have I got it from somewhere else? When I was shopping, I thought, have I picked up some different vitamin C's? It didn't taste that nice. But anyway, long story short here, I realised that I'd actually bought some energy tablets, effervescent tablets. So I thought, oh, wow, well, again, silver linings. I'll have a quicker walk this morning.
So just to, we've got a couple of minutes left. We've touched on some techniques on how to stay positive, some techniques on how to best manage your time, and also, the importance of getting into a routine. But we've also kind of diverged in the way of how important sleep is, and checking the news, and how important it's to, not be ignorant, still be aware, but also focus on the good and everything that's going on. If anyone's got any questions or wants us to touch on something just briefly, then by all means, fire them over. If you have enjoyed this, then, we do this every Thursday at 1:30. Amanda, you obviously have coaching slots.
Are we doing it at 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, on a Thursday. But you've got coaching slots around that time, haven't you, for any of our members who may be feeling like they want that one-to-one time?
Yeah, get in touch. Just send me an email or on a Facebook Messenger. I'm happy either way, whatever works for you and whatever easiest. Okay, so yeah, please do, and just book that in. It's part of your membership, and it's part of you being in this group. You get it. It's part of this for you. It's a service to you. But also, I want to say that app before I forget, because it's called the Happy Broadcast.
Oh, right, great.
Happy
Yeah,
broadcast, and it just shares happy news.
amazing. Happy
So there
broadcast.
you go. So there's a little ending on a little positive.
End on the pause, yeah, of course. And you know, there's so many cool techniques and so many things, and you can always get in touch with Amanda, or you can get in touch with me if you want any advice on anything like that. Remember, we're trying to take care of every aspect of your health and fitness at the moment, in terms of, obviously, this is mindset and mental well-being. You've got your training, recovery, sleep, and nutrition, and we'll always aim to help as much as we can in every area that we can.
Definitely.
Thank you very much, Amanda.
Oh, thank you, Rob. I've enjoyed our chats.
Yeah, thanks guys for watching, and thanks for all the positive comments. And Andrew, Jackie, and my mum have all said thank you very much. Thanks,
Hello.
guys, for tuning in. And we will catch you next week, if not before.
Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.